Okay, so you're looking at the Split Dorian tuning and maybe trying it out, but you don't want to buy an 8-string guitar to do it. I can understand that. I didn't do that, and I don't expect anyone else to. However, the Split Dorian tuning is really the best on 8-string guitar. It gives you so much more. But no reason to try it out on an 8-string if you don't have one. Let's look at what we've got if we did have an 8-string guitar. We would need to change the strings because regular guitar strings are the wrong gauge, and you're going to end up destroying your guitar or your fingers or both, or have something totally unplayable. So these are the strings that I've found by my own experimentation to actually work pretty well. Gives you the full 8 strings, and you can see what the gauges are here, and you can also see just from this little list the open root position triads that are available. Just in, play 3 strings, you've got a chord, any 3 strings. So at any rate, I do have some sets of strings available from Strings by Mail. I don't get anything for these, by the way. It's just kind of a courtesy. They'll sell you these strings if you want them. Now you can do this if you only have a 6-string too, and toss away a couple of strings, but that's up to you. So, do you have an 8-string guitar? Well, chances are good that you don't. So using a 6-string guitar then and new sets of strings, you can do any of 3 different variants of this tuning. If you look at the 8 strings, you can either take the top 6, the bottom 6, or the center 6. So let's look at them real quick. The top 6 gives you a low B. Now that's the B above the A string on a regular guitar. So you really don't want to use an A string for that. You'll be bringing it up too much. You certainly don't want to use a low E string. You can use the high E string, and you can use the D string. But that's pretty much all you can really use out of a normal set of strings. You do get those 2 minor and 2 major chords just played open. And again, you can see what these gauges are. Now if we look at the bottom 6, we start with the low E, and you can use that string. Again, you can use the D string from whatever set of strings you've got. If you happen to have some laying around, you can use those too. But you're still going to need to get some of these others, unless you've got some weird sets or some extra strings laying around that happen to be these gauges, or real close to them. You're going to need to buy a few strings. I'm sorry about that. That's just the way it is. Again, we have 2 minor, 2 major chords as open triads. If you do the center 6, there's kind of a disadvantage because you've just wiped out both E strings. You get a good part of the range, but you don't get the high end, you don't get the low end. So that's kind of where that's working. You also end up wiping out 2 of the possible strings you can use because both these strings are gone. You can still use the D string, and that's pretty much it. Now if you need a few concepts as to which ones to try, personally I started with the top 6, and there wasn't any particular reason for that. I just kind of wanted the higher range. Now I can also use the reference string, which is the high E string, to try to figure out where I am. because I don't usually think about what the individual notes are inside those two strings when forming chords. At least I didn't. I certainly do now that I'm working with the 8th string. So anyway, if you normally reference the low E string when doing chords, you might want to try the bottom 6 strings. If you reference the high E string, the top 6 strings. Again, if you want the lower range, you go with the bottom. Now, if you want to have the first chord that you look at be a major chord, starting with the lowest string, then you're really going to need to do the center 6. That's about the only reason I would recommend the center 6, is it gives you the that first chord as a major chord instead of a minor chord. And you can see below here what the chords are for the bottom 6, the center 6, the top 6. You may have a set of chords that you say, well, I play a lot of those chords and I would like to try that particular one. Probably not too many people use an F sharp minor, but yeah, you could, absolutely. It's the 2 chord of the E scale, so that's certainly a possibility. So you've got all sorts of interesting potentials here. And remember, these are just the open chords. I mean, you have to use your fingers for something, so you're going to be doing more than that. At the very least, moving those bars up and down the fretboard to get your other chords. So in a lot of ways, it doesn't really matter. Any of these will help you learn what the chord forms are. It's the same chord forms whether it's a 6 or an 8th string. The 8th string is just extended by another couple strings. Scales, again, just extend using the same scale patterns. The thing that is nice about either of them is that the chord structures are laid out like a piano. You've got the 1, 3, 5, and 7, and 9, and 11, and 13 notes all laid out in a row for you. And so you can see them all, you can do whatever you want as far as music theory goes right on the guitar, and it's very easy to see and do. And you can certainly take what you've learned on that and put it back on the standard guitar if you have questions about that. It will certainly help you learn, you know, both kinds of guitar a little bit better. It's really a great tuning for working with music theory, chord structures, all that kind of thing. It's really wonderful. So what now? Well, make your decision, string up your guitar, and check out the chord charts on my website at cfmorrisonguitars.com. Look for the EM13 or Split Dorian webpage. And I've got lots of chord charts there if you want to play with chord charts. See what the layout of it is, how to get around, how the 1, 4, and 5 chords are related, where the 2 chords are, all that kind of fun stuff. And just start playing and using them, and you know, work them into songs. Work out solos if you want. Make up tunes, arrange pieces, do whatever you want. It's very addictive, and you can post them online. Let me know, and I'll put links to them. Share stuff with your guitar playing friends. This doesn't have to be a solo, you know, kind of deal. And if you want to see more of the kind of stuff that I'm doing, you can follow my YouTube videos for more of this stuff. So I hope that gives you enough to get started on this, and hope you enjoy. Let me know how you do.